You trust your government to protect you, to keep you safe, to make decisions that are in your best interest. But what if I told you that the very same government that asks for your loyalty has drugged you, poisoned you, radiated you, and experimented on you without your knowledge? Not in another country, not in some dictatorship, right here on American soil with American citizens. And the most disturbing part? They knew exactly what they were doing. Today, we are going through the most shocking things the United States government secretly did to its own people. And by the end of this video, you will never look at the word classified the same way again. Let's start. Number 1. The government poisoned alcohol during Prohibition. Most people know about Prohibition. The 1920s, alcohol was banned. People drank anyway. What most people do not know is what the government did next. Because people kept drinking illegally, the U.S. government made a decision. They ordered industrial alcohol, the kind used in factories and products, to be poisoned, deliberately, on purpose, with deadly chemicals including strychnine, kerosene, and methanol. The idea was to scare people away from drinking. Instead, it killed them. Between 1926 and 1933, the government's own poisoning program killed an estimated 10,000 American citizens. Not enemy soldiers, not criminals, regular people who had a drink. The government knew the death toll was rising. They kept the program going anyway. A journalist named Deborah Bloom spent years uncovering this and called it, and I want you to really hear this, one of the most chilling cases of the government using its own citizens as a lesson. 10,000 people poisoned by their own country. Number 2. Operation Sea Spray. Biological warfare testing on San Francisco. 1950, the U.S. Navy had a question. If a biological weapon was released over an American city, how far would it spread? How many people would be affected? Instead of testing this in a lab, they tested it on San Francisco. For 6 days, the Navy sprayed the entire city of San Francisco with bacteria from ships off the coast. They used something called Serratia marcescens, a bacteria they believed was harmless as a stand-in for real biological weapons. The people of San Francisco had absolutely no idea. They were breathing it, walking through it, taking it home to their families. Within weeks, a man named Edward Nevin was admitted to a hospital in San Francisco with a rare Serratia marcescens infection. He died. The Navy denied everything. It was only decades later, when the truth came out through declassified documents, that Americans learned their own government had used their city as a biological weapons testing ground. And San Francisco was not the only city. Over the following years, the government conducted at least 239 secret open-air biological tests on American cities. 239 number 3, the Tuskegee Syphilis experiment. This one is one of the most well-known, but the full truth of what happened is still shocking every single time. 1932 Alabama. The U.S. Public Health Service recruited 399 black men in rural Alabama for what they were told was a special government health program. Free medical care, free meals, free burial insurance. What the men were not told was that they had syphilis, and that the government had zero intention of treating them. The researchers wanted to study what syphilis does to the human body if left completely untreated, so they watched for 40 years while these men got sicker, while some went blind, while some developed severe heart disease, while some died. And here is the part that makes this even more unforgivable. In 1947, while this experiment was still running, penicillin became the standard cure for syphilis. A simple injection could have saved every single man in that study. The government withheld it deliberately so they could keep watching. The experiment ran until 1972. 40 years. 128 men died. 40 wives were infected. 19 children were born with the disease. The government only stopped when a whistleblower leaked it to the press. In 1997, President Clinton formally apologized, but the men who survived and the families of those who didn't had already spent a lifetime paying the price. Number 4. Project SHAD. Soldiers used as guinea pigs. During the Cold War, the U.S. government needed to know how biological and chemical weapons would affect soldiers in real combat conditions, so they tested them on their own soldiers. Project SHAD, Shipboard Hazard in Defense, ran through the 1960s. American military personnel were told they were participating in routine training exercises on ships. They were not told that those ships were being sprayed with nerve agents, biological agents, and other chemical weapons. The soldiers breathed it in. They had direct skin contact with it. And they were sent home with no medical monitoring and told nothing about what had been done to them. Decades later, these veterans started getting sick. Rare cancers, neurological disorders, immune system failures. They had no idea why. It was only in 2002, more than 40 years later, that the Pentagon finally admitted Project SHAD existed, and that American soldiers had been used as test subjects without their knowledge or consent. Some of those veterans are still fighting for medical recognition. Number 5. Radiation experiments on civilians and patients. After World War II, the U.S. government was fascinated by radiation, and they wanted to know exactly what it did to the human body, so they found the most vulnerable people they could find. Pregnant women in low-income clinics were given radioactive iron supplements, told it was a routine vitamin. They had no idea. Mentally disabled children at a school in Massachusetts were fed radioactive oatmeal for breakfast with the permission of the school, but without the knowledge of parents who were told only that their children were in a nutrition study. Terminally ill cancer patients were injected with plutonium to study how the body processed it. Patients who were too sick to fully understand what was being done to them. Hospital patients were exposed to full-body radiation in doses so high that military researchers described some sessions as equivalent to being near a nuclear bomb. These experiments ran from the 1940s all the way into the 1970s, and almost none of the subjects were ever told what had actually been done to their bodies. These are not conspiracy theories. These are declassified, government-admitted, historically documented facts. Every single program in this video was run with government funding, government approval, and government knowledge. The people it happened to were not enemies. They were not criminals. They were not volunteers. They were citizens, just like you. And the thing that makes all of this truly disturbing is not just that it happened. It's that for most of it, nobody was ever punished. The programs ended, the files were classified, and the people responsible retired with their pensions, while the people they experimented on lived with the consequences for the rest of their lives. If that makes you feel something, good, because forgetting this is exactly how it happens again today.